Happy Sabbath. Happy day. Welcome to this afternoon session. And we want to really thank you for coming for this session. We want to, at this point, begin our demonstrations. We have planned to do first aid demonstrations, after which we will have question and answer sessions where we can ask questions and get the team to answer and explain to us, give us clarifications. So welcome to this session. I want to hand over to the team of paramedics who have joined us this afternoon to take us through the session for this afternoon. Feel much welcome to this session, and we hope you'll be blessed and you'll use the skills that you gain from this to bless others. We believe that this session is going to be more of an interactive session, and so we would request that you move as close as possible because the demos are going to be done from this part of the stage. And so if you're not able to see from wherever you are, we would request that you move closer so that you're able to see without difficulties. We would wish to take you through these sessions because, as we know, most of the deaths in this country or severe illnesses start small and sometimes they start big, but some of these deaths could be saved if the patients got first aid care at the right time or as early as possible. So we would want to leave no stone unturned to ensure that within this session you gain the maximum that you can gain so that you can use these skills to help wherever you find yourself in a situation which you may need to apply. So welcome, and I'll hand over to our team.
Happy Sabbath. Happy day. My name is Bonventure. I'm an emergency responder. Today we are here. I have a team from Kenya Council of Emergency Medical Technicians. We are here to give a demonstrations on emergency care. As Dr. has said, if the patient is not managed well, that is you and me in the community, even the surgeon in the theater won't do anything. So that's why we are here. You are choked in the house. You are drowning. You have asthma. Somebody has gotten an accident. That's why we are here. We'll start by introduction because you know it's divided into sections. First of all, we are going to do a bit of theory. We are going to do practical, and then we're going to do question and answers. And we have different presenters. We have like 4 presenters amongst us. So the first to start will be Mr. Teddy Malaki, who is going to give us a brief introduction of what is emergency care, what does it entail, and a bit of casualty management. So I'm going to welcome Mr. Teddy Malaki for the first presentation.
Happy Sabbath. Happy day. I've learned that. Welcome to the EMS training, Emergency Medical Services. When we were growing up, we were being told EMS is a speed post, but now it is Emergency Medical Services. That's where we are. You are celebrating your health week. I'm told not to move away from here, so I hope that. But for you, if you are sitting this other side and you are not able to see the stage, take the next 30 seconds so that you fill in the seat this other side. It is to your benefit, I promise you. Please it's called evacuation. Evacuate yourself gently and get a space. We are our brothers and sisters keeper. So just make space next to the next person and we move in. As they're doing that, my name is Teddy Malaki, as it has been said. We are going to handle the first session, and that is the theory session. How many are here for first aid? Carry up your hand. Carry up your hand if you are here for first aid. Only 2 people are here for first aid. The rest? Everything. Thank you. I like that, for everything. That's good. Let me see how prepared you are for the session. Carry up your left hand. Carry up your left hand. Call on to me. Bring it next to your forehead. Touch your cheek. That is not your cheek. So, please come back. I need everything of yours in this room for you to understand what we are going to talk about. How many have ever witnessed any incident out here? We always have a lot of them along this road, isn't it? It goes without saying. And I'd like to say that every incident has got an incident commander. Can you say incident commander? And that's why we are here. Take, for example, 2 children are playing outside the church. Then one suddenly drops into a hole. The other one runs in to call for a church elder. Hello, hello, John has dropped into the hole. That child is the incident commander by default at that time. But he or she has assessed and realized he or she cannot deal with that situation. He has got to actually transfer command to someone else. He runs to the church elder and transfers command. By default, the church elder picks up the command of the incident, goes to the scene to assess. Is it true what the child has reported? It happens every day. But today, we want to learn, what do you need to look into when an incident occurs? Can we say first aid? Shout again, first aid. Huduma ya kwanza. I was privileged to sit next to one of the ladies around, and you have this nice book that has got English, Kiswahili, and Luo hymns. But we are not going to train in Luo. We'll mix a bit of Kiswahili and English for the whole team to be able to understand. What is first aid in a nutshell? Yes, my dear, come and say. You in glasses. Naona unajaribu kujificha lakini hakuna pale pa kujificha hapa. Yes, my dear, come. The mic is yours. What is first aid?
First aid is the first help given to a person.
Can you give her a clap? Wachana na hiyo ya siasa. A clap. Very good. Thank you, my dear. And that is the brief session about first aid. But today, we are going to learn that first aid is the initial help. Say initial help. That first thing that you think of doing. Initial help. Can you say using accepted principles of treatment? We had that rudimentary learning. You repeat after the teacher. So that's how we are going to go about it for now. So it is the initial help. Using accepted principles of treatment. Why do we say accepted principles of treatment? At home, uko shago, unaambiwa ukijikata weka chumvi. Si ni kweli? Ukichomeka weka Colgate. Imeandikwa kwa kitabu gani? Which manual? Any nurse here tell me. Imeandikwa kwa kitabu gani? So what you are going to do is something that has been documented, it is proven, and it can actually stand legal issues. If taken to court, you'll say, I was actually trained by the Kenya Council of Emergency Medical Technicians, and they said the first aid that we do must be in accordance to medical principles. So first aid is the initial help offered. Why do I talk about offered? When you are offering something, the other person must be willing to receive. You are giving it from the bottom of your heart. So many people have been trained out here on first aid matters. But when an incident occurs, watu wanajificha. You don't want to go in. There's some fear in you. But there are those ones who are confident, not courageous. Can you say courageous? Confident. What's the difference between confidence and being courageous? I'll leave that to you, not for now. But I'll tell you, being confident is knowing your limits. being knowledgeably, skillfully, knowing your limits. You know, this I can deal with, this I cannot deal with. Those who are courageous are the ones who go to an accident scene and pull those who are injured from vehicles without knowing where to take them. Then they throw them beside the road. Who told you that vehicle was going to move after the accident? Why do you remove those people who are severely bleeding from the vehicle and you don't even have a bandage? Why do you worsen their lives? You've not even assessed whether they've got spinal injuries and you manhandle them. You have spinal injury, mtu amebeba mguu moja, mkono, and you are bent. By the time you are reaching the hospital, you are fully paralyzed. Those are courageous people. But for those who are confident, they'll know I have to leave the station as it is until the rescue team arrives. So it is the initial help offered using accepted principles of treatment to a casualty. Can you say a casualty? Yes, when an accident occurs, we don't say John was involved in an accident. No, we say we had one casualty, male or female, child or old age, okay, who sustained this and that injury. Because we have to respect your privacy. You've realized, mtu anasema, we only realize Nani died over the social media. It is the social media that reported. The police never contacted us. The hospital never contacted us. We were not told. We only read in the social media. So, as a first aider, you don't go calling about names left, right, and center. You say you have a casualty. So, first aid is the initial help offered using accepted principles of treatment to a casualty. On occurrence of sudden illness or injury, the team here is going to practice, demonstrate issues to do with injury and issues to do with illness. And what does that mean to you? Think of any person who has died out here. It was either because of a medical condition or trauma, accident. Think of anybody. Take a moment. Anybody who lost a life. And you'll come to two things. Either it was because of an accident or a medical condition. So what does that tell you? If you're going out there and you suddenly see somebody who is lying down, think, if you've been called there's an incident and you still not know, at the first glance, no, you are either going to deal with a medical case or an injury, a trauma case. It makes the work easy. Because you know, if it is a medical case, is the casualty conscious or unconscious? Good. If it is a trauma case, then you start with how bad is it? In terms of A, B, and C, you are coming to see that. I still repeat, what is first aid? It is the initial help offered using accepted principles of treatment to a casualty on occurrence of sudden illness or injury, using the materials available at that time. First aiders in normal days, normal circumstance, you cannot see them walking with first aid kit. But when an accident occurs, you stop the vehicle that is there. Can you give me gloves? Can you give me bandage? In the house, mtu amekatwa, immediately unachukua kitamba yenye iko safi and you hold it. The material that's available at that time. You are not walking around with it totally. But at that juncture, that's what you have. You've seen people who are sick. Families carry them using blankets. That is the material that was available at that time. They carried using mattresses. That was the material available at that time. Unaona mtu amevunjika, anatumia kijiti. That was the equipment available within his jurisdiction at that time. That is the thing. Nobody wishes for an incident. So you have to know that in case you are called in as a first aider and you are asked what is first aid, you will say it is the initial help offered using accepted principles of treatment to a casualty on occurrence of sudden illness or injury using the materials available at that time before disposal appropriately. Na tuelewane. Before disposal appropriately. Can we all say that? Before disposal appropriately. This is where we make a lot of mistakes. Somebody has been stabbed. Amedungwa kisu kwa tumbo. Definitely no, this thing has penetrated up to the intestines. that is a case that cannot be managed at the dispensary. Lazima utafute a place where you'll be able to get a surgeon. And where will you get that? In either a level 4, a level 5 hospital, or a good level 3 hospital who has got a specialist there running it to act very fast. But what will they do at the dispensary? To be able to stabilize in case of any bleeding. But if a mother is presenting with headache, had fainted and is presenting with headache, what do? Anapelekwa pale, wanauliza, is your sugar level okay? Yes, yeah. If somebody has got minor nose bleeding, do you take that to the hospital? You don't. But if somebody is shot on the head and the bullet is sticking and the person is still alive but bleeding internally, that one cannot be managed in any level 3 facility or level 4. You need a specialist, that is level 5 or level 6. So as a first aider, when you have people who are injured, you need to think fast. Where will this person get the help as fast as possible? Because if you start wasting time from one facility to the other, it will take a long time before this person is actually dealt with. You saw in the social media, the child wenye mwenzake alilima kichwa yake, unfortunately passed on na jembe. The cases you need to determine, where do I get? And the only place that could handle it was Kenyatta National Hospital, where they could also get a neurosurgeon. So, in this gathering, let us learn today that first aid is not just an ish thing, where you walk in and walk out. It deals with human life. Mimi na wewe. Human life, not the life of a goat, not the life of a camel. So what happens when an accident occurs? First, we've got to know, what are our aims of first aid? Can we say aims of first aid? Aims of first aid. There are 3 P's. Say, preserve life, prevent condition from worsening, promote recovery. Those are the 3 things you go to look for when you are going to the hospital. And it begins with first aid. Ukiwa mgonjwa, kwa nini watu wanachanga pesa? Because they don't want to lose you. Why are the doctors working on you 24 hours? Why are you in the intensive care unit? Because they want to preserve your life. And that's what it is also with first aid. Then why are all those consultants? Why are you going from one treatment to the other? Why are they changing? Why are they addressing your injuries? So that your condition does not worsen. That's why you go to the hospital. And that's the same with first aid. Then why are you told not to take this drug, but you take this other one, not to take this meat, not to take this food, not to take this thing, not to this? If you're hypertensive, so that you recover well. Why are you told to take time off from work? So that you recover well. The same applies to first aid. It is the foundation to medicine in terms of management. We also deal with 3 P's. The first P is to preserve life. The second, to prevent the condition from worsening. And the third is to promote recovery. Don't forget about that. And the back of your mind, that is why you even go to the hospital. So that you don't die. If it was malaria, it does not get worse. And you are given drugs, you recover well. But when an accident occurs, sorry, I'm used to walking and talking in lecture rooms, so I feel like I need to go back, and I'm reminded I don't need to move from this spot. When an accident occurs, how do you go about it? It is something that is always very difficult to most people. Can we say omega? Say omega. A, M, E, G, A. Can you shout omega? Sijasikia? Very good. Don't forget that. It will help you from now on. Why? This foundation does not change. Whichever country you go to, the foundation in first aid does not change. We are giving you the international standards. The first A is to assess. And when you assess, you look at the type of incident. Is it a fire incident? Is it a road traffic accident, where we say RTA? Is it a drowning case? Is it a train incident that occurred here? Is it violence? Is gun involved? Is any other weapon involved? So you have to know which type of incident, because there are incidences that require the police to be part and parcel of the response. These are incidences that are related to violence in terms of weapons, panga, guns. Must. If you are responding and you don't call the police, it is a crime. You need to call the police immediately. Another one is where somebody is threatening suicide or murder, calling the police. So know your limits. That's when we talk about being confident. Then still on A, assess if there's any danger. Number one reason is this: you can only perform first aid if you are safe as a responder. That's why we as paramedics, we are always cowards. We stay back until everything has quietened. That's when we move into the scene. We don't want to die. So is the scene safe for you to move in? The other thing is, what are the resources that you will require? If it is an MCI, multiple casualty incident, you will need more than 6 agencies responding. A good example is this building that collapsed here the other day, and we responded. The second team and then the fire team got us. The first was the police, but they did not have anything. And then they called us. And then the fire team came in, and we started coordinating the response until 6:30 in the evening. So do you have the necessary resources to respond to this incident? If you don't, call for help. Then the other one is, what are the challenges that you may deal with? The train here derailed. There was no way through. The same will happen if there's a serious accident. Ambulances will be delayed because there will be traffic jam. These are problems that you will have to know about. So don't think the ambulance will come immediately you've given a call. These are challenges that you have to be aware of. That's why we say assess the situation. And then M, make safe. Can you say ABC? The first one, A, is to the first aider. Your safety is paramount as the first aider. Please remember that. And this also goes in with what we do with the police. They ensure that the scene is safe. And that's why wakikuja wanafukuza watu. The public do not understand why they're always being told, move back. They start pelting us with stones. It's because we do not want any bystander to get injured. So B is to safety of the bystander. We don't want any other person falling or getting injured. Then C is to the casualty. That person is already injured. And we use what is called Murphy's Law. Some people will die. There's nothing you can do about it. It is nature. Don't hold yourself responsible. Do your best. So in terms of making safe, let your safety be first, A. Then M, A, B, then B, bystander. Then C, the casualty. Those who never understand this, they defy all these safety aspects and then they run to the casualty, thereby complicating the situation for us. Please assist us as part of the team to work together to ensure the scene safety by making the scene safe for everyone. Whenever we see the police at the scene, we know they know this and they've assured us of the scene safety, so we just move in. When the police see us at the scene, they know we know this, we've ensured the scene safety, so they just come in. Let's work as a team. And then the E is emergency aid. Depending on the injury or the medical condition, as you will be trained or you will come for the training later, offer it. Then G, get help. When you talk about getting help, how many have got the numbers to the fire station in their phones? Carry up your hand. How many have got the numbers to the emergency operations center at the district that coordinates all the ambulances in the county? Thank you very much. How many have got the number to AAR Emergency Rescue? Kenya Red Cross? St. John Ambulance? Kondele Police Station? Obunga Police Station, Mamboleo Police Station, police post at the showground. And then you expect these people to come at the twinkle of an eye. That is where we get it wrong most of the time. You don't have the number, your neighbor does not have the number, the neighbor of your neighbor does not have your number. It takes 20 minutes to locate the number. By the time you come, you are so angry with us, we don't even know where you stay, you did not give us airtime, you are not picking our calls to get the location, and the road to your house cannot even be gotten. And then you start beating us. We need to change our attitude. Safety and emergency services begins with you. Before this team leaves here, they have all the numbers. Ensure there's a list that they leave behind, pick the numbers from them. So that today in the evening, if your neighbor has got a challenge, mwambie, don't worry, I'm calling the Emergency Operations Center or the Kenya Red Cross. Do you have a card? No, I don't have. Then let's call Kenya Red Cross. Do you have a card? Yes, I have. Let me call AAR. Which police station do you need? Kondele, Kisumu, Obunga. Name it. We have all the numbers. Have it too. It is your opportunity today. Finally, A, we are talking about Omega, aftermath. Can we say aftermath? If the accident is so bad, like the accident where kichwa ya mtu imekatwa due to an accident, ama tumbo imepasuka, ama mtoto amekufa, ama mtu amechomuka, and you have been touched, you feel bad about it, don't go down. Don't be depressed. We have trauma counselors. Isn't it, Madam Kelly? We have trauma counselors. Please talk about it. Every day we go through these things. We go through these things. But we have to prepare for the next incident. We talk to trauma counselors. We cry. We draw. We write it out. And we say we did our best. We learn from those incidents. Just to be perfect. If we used our first aid kits, we replenish them. If you saw today, we came prepared because we did not know this road has got its own devils out here. Whatever happens, we are saying we are going prepared if at all it happens. But through your prayers, nothing has happened, and we thank you. So remember from today, first aid is the initial help using accepted principles offered to a casualty on occurrence of sudden illness or injury, using materials available at that time before disposal of property. We offer first aid because we want to preserve life, prevent the condition from worsening, or promote recovery. If an accident occurs, we simply say Omega, and we follow it. With those many remarks, let me give this stage to one and only Bonaventure. Please come.
Thank you so much, Tamalaki. I hope you've learned today. Yes, now we are going to do what is called casualty management. And in casualty management, now is the casualty, mgonjwa. We want to deal with the casualty now. That was an incident management. After incident, we go to casualty management. I'll be a bit fast because of time. Yeah, I think time is not on our side. So in casualty management, we are going to do what is called Doctor's ABC. DR, S, A, B, and C. D, R, S, A, B, and C. The first D we've learned. The first D is danger. Whenever you get a casualty, you check for danger. And in danger is safety. Sorry for that, for interruptions. I was saying, in checking for danger, you check for two things. Danger, you check for two things: casualty and the first aider. In danger for the first aider, there are also two things. Number one, The first thing you do as a first aider, ensure you put on personal protective equipment. Number one is gloves. Don't touch body fluids of any patient or casualty. Currently, we do have a lot of respiratory infections. Put on a mask. Whenever handling any casualty, put on a mask. There's another disease that came after COVID. It was called, which one was it? Chicken pox. Do you know? Not chicken pox. Monkey pox. So currently we do have a lot of infections. Ensure as a first aider you are safe. You check for danger. Number two, I was talking about doctors ABC. Number two, check for response. How do you check for response in a person? Huh? How do you check for response? Response is a communication, sindio? How do you know you are responsive? Saizi ananiangalia. Ako responsive? Yeah? Is she responsive? In checking for response, we use 3-4 letters. Say A, V, P, U. The first A, you check if the casualty is alert. Who is alert? Somebody who is alert. Si wanajua penye wako. They know the time, sindio? And they know the day, and they are oriented. That is the first A. The second letter is V. You check for voice response. Call the casualty by name. Sindio? You can call the casualty by name. If the casualty is not responding, you check for P. P, you pinch. Sindio? You pinch kidogo. I need to demonstrate, but I can't move from here. I'm used to moving around, demonstrating. It's going to give me a bit of time. You pinch the casualty. Yes. Pinch the casualty. Pinch your neighbor. Pinch your neighbor on the hand. On the soft part of the hand. Here or here. Pinch. Are they responding? Yes?
Not the shoulder. Here. Okay?
Call them by name if you know them. Call your neighbor by name. Do you know your neighbor? Yes? Okay. If the casualty is not responding to A, V, P, we say that casualty is unconscious. Indio? After this, we're going to do unconscious stroke and responsive casualty. I say doctors A, B, C. We are going to S. S, you shout for help. Whenever you have this casualty, you check for danger. This casualty is not responding. You call for help. You can dial 999 or 112. Sawa. After shouting for help, you come to this casualty. You check for airway. What is an airway? Who knows what is an airway? I don't want doctors or nurses. They know what is an airway. Who knows what is an airway? Engineer, you know? You know an airway? What is an airway? Come. Tell them what is an airway. I don't want medics.
In my thinking, an airway is any opening where you can breathe. So maybe the nose and the mouth, this area.
Is he right? The ears? Huh? Eyes? Eyes are not airway. What about an ear? Air cannot pass through. It can. She's saying it can. But today it knows the airways, mouth, nose, and the windpipe, and the lungs. Senior. So as a first aider, always ensure the airway is open. Opening the airway, just tilt the head to a sniffing position. Can you demonstrate? Are you seeing? Tilt the head to a sniffing position. Are you seeing? Yes. After opening the air, you check for breathing. And in checking for breathing, say 2L plus an F. Say 2L plus an F if you want to check for breathing. Do you know you are breathing? Can you check? Can you check if you are breathing? Do you know? How do you check? How do you know that you are breathing? Huh? You touch here. You can touch here. You know you are breathing. In checking for breathing, you look, you listen, and you feel. So. Look, listen, and feel. What do you look for? You look for chest movements, chest rise. Says angalia chest yako sahi. Is it rising? Eh? Look at your chest. Is it rising? Look at the neighbor's chest. Is it rising? Yes? It's rising. And then you listen for breath sounds. If you're breathing, there's a sound that comes out of the nose. You can listen for that. Sindio? Ama mnagopana. Unaweza sikia ya neighbor yako. Eka tu masikio kwa mapua kidogo hivi. Usikia kama kuna sauti. Mnasikia? Is there a sound you're feeling? Yes. And then you feel for warm air in and out of the nose. Can you feel? Just feel. Just feel. Yes. That one which means somebody is breathing. If that casualty is not breathing, what do you do? It's a neighbor at home. It's 2 a.m. They're not breathing. What do you do? Suddenly they had a heart attack. Where is it you are? Just stop talking, now not breathing. What do you do? Huh? Huh? What do you do? You'll know from today what to do. Doctors A, B, C. After checking for breathing, you check for pulse. What is a pulse? What is a pulse? Huh? Who knows what a pulse is? Who knows what a pulse is? Pulse is a heartbeat. Senior, it shows the circulation of the blood in the body. You know, if there's no blood circulation in the body, are you dead? If you don't have circulation, are you dead? Huh? You can still do something as a first aider. I'll handle that also. So in checking for circulation, you check for pulse. How do you check for pulse? Check for pulse. Check for pulse.
If he's conscious, the radial. If ukienda kwa daktari wanaangalia na hapa. But if unconscious, use the carotid. Okay? Give me a pistol. Pistol. Bring it at the nape. And then dig in a little. You feel it. Kigonga gonga. Don't feel both at the same time. Don't do two. No, you only do one. Left, right side. Feel it. Don't do this. Usijinyonge. This is wrong. It's one. Okay? Yeah. Or this other side. So if the person is unconscious, if conscious, you look at the thumb. Bring it to the radial notch and then feel. You'll get it. See radial notch here. You'll feel. You keep on doing this with your thumb. Use the index and the middle finger. Much better. Okay? Have it. Thumb here. And you have it there. The radial pulse area. Thank you.
Thank you. After checking for pulse, then you now have your casualty. If they have a pulse, it's okay. If they are breathing, it's okay. So, you need to check for pulse and breathing for not more than 10 seconds. Remember that. Check for breathing and pulse for not more than 10 seconds. And you know the pulse has a rate. Sindio? See, pulse ikuna rate. It's supposed to be around 60 to 100 kwa watu wazima. For adults, it's about 60 to 100. For small kids like this age, it goes up to 120. And for smaller ones, it goes up to 150. So also mark that. This thing is always very simple. I want to demonstrate how to do doctors ABC. Sawa? Cameraman, am I allowed to move? I want to demonstrate. So whenever you have a casualty, this is the first thing that you do. This is a conscious casualty. Sawa? Always come, do this. That's it. This is a conscious casualty. Always come, check for danger. There's no danger. Check for response. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you all right? Are you all right? It's okay. Do you see what I'm doing? Do you see? I'm checking for pulse at the same time I'm looking at the chest. So I'm I'm checking for breathing at the same time I'm checking for pulse. This is what you're supposed to do as a first aider. Is it okay? For unconscious casualty, sleep. Demonstrate for them unconscious casualty.
Check for the scene safety. It is important these days because of the issue of suicide bombers and the rest. Number two, you never know whether it was electrocution or a snake bite and the snake is still there. So don't put yourself at risk. Once you've done that, the scene is safe, kneel down. Then check for the response. In this instance, you'll have to actually feel part. Because the casualty is unconscious, you have to apply pain somewhere. So I want you to turn to your partner. There's this muscle here at the neck. Yeah. So just stand. Gently. I want you to see his facial expression. When I do this. He feels pain, but because he's a man, he's got to smile. So try on your partner. Just finya hapo kidogo. You hold it, yeah. So that's it. So when you do that, if the person is not responding, basically, or else you can do a sternal rub, very fast. You call it sternal rub to check for response. The person is not responding. You simply know that it's not responding, then you quickly open the airway using a pistol grip. So if you're on the left side hand of the casualty, make a pistol using your left hand, do the pistol, and it has come on the chin. Try place it on the chin. So you open the airway, chin lift, head tilt. If you fail to do this, this is what will happen. Can you do this? Now put it on the throat of the other person. Weka kwa shingo mwenzako. Press it going in. Now, this is what I'm explaining. If you fail to make the pistol, all your weight will be pressing on the person's throat. Are you getting it? And this is very bad. The casualty will not tell you because he's unconscious, but you'll keep on pressing the throat and you'll think that you're actually performing first aid, but there's nothing. You're causing more injury onto the person's throat. Okay? Try touching the other person's Adam apple. Shika tu. Shika finya kidogo. It's scary. Yeah? So imagine pressing on that. It is not good. So maintain that one. Open airway. Okay? After you open the airway, then you look, listen, and feel. For 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, check the carotid pulse. Is it present? Yes or no? Remember, you are racing against time because the brain needs oxygen. So please always remember that. Then you proceed now to top-to-toe survey. Continue.
Just on. Now, what do you do in case you get a casualty? What do you do if this casualty is not responding? You check for danger. No danger. You are safe. The casualty is safe. Check for response. The casualty is not alert, doesn't respond to voice, doesn't respond to pain. The casualty is unresponsive. You shouted for help. Wanakuja. You've opened the airway, checked for breathing. The casualty is breathing and has circulation. It's only that this casualty is unresponsive. Irene will take off from there. That casualty. Unconscious casualty.
Good afternoon, church. Happy Sabbath. Happy day. Yeah, thank you very much. We want to demonstrate on unconscious patient. And usually most of the time, couple of times, when you get people collapse in the streets, in our homes, it usually causes a panicking mode, right? So we want to demonstrate what happens to casualties, or not casualties, but even somebody who has suddenly fallen ill in your homes, in the marketplace, on the streets, in the supermarket. What do we do to this patient? Basically, Bonaventure has already said what can be done to this patient, but now we want to look at the physical part of it. When you talk of first aid, I know some of the things you're going to demonstrate here, you may not be. Most of the times you don't have even ambu bags at home. Ile kidude hiyo. Bonnie, can you carry that? Yeah, most of the time they don't have that. Tuko na hii nyumbani? Hatuna, si ndio? Sasa leo tunataka tu tuongee kwa vitu zenye ziko practical, what we can do at home to save lives. Sawa sawa. Tusije tukasema walikuja wakatuonyesha bag nyingine, sasa hiyo bag nitatoa wapi na mtu anakufa kwa nyumba, si ndio? So we want to tell you what you can use, the minimums you can use to save a life. So in case you don't have the ambu bag and somebody is dying at home, somebody is close to you, we can always use other things like pocket mask. Pocket mask, ndio? Kama una pocket mask in doing just giving breath, because at this particular time, the heart has stopped. You've already assessed for the patient. Umeangalia ile pulse yameanguka chini. Kuangalia pulse, umesikia hapa hakuna pulse. Aidundi, so we need to take action immediately. Sindio? Calling for help usually comes automatic in our home. Sindio? Hata sahi nikianguka hapa chini. Nikianguka tu poop, what will happen? People will run. They'll be, whoo! And then they come. They check for a chest rise. If they don't see a chest rise naturally, nduru watatimua. Sindio? Hawajangalia pulse bado. Ameona tu mtu ameanguka chini na ameona hapumui, atatimua nduru. Sindio? So ukishatimua nduru, the next person comes, let them check for pulse. Do you have a pulse? Is the heart beating? Basically, the pulse is letting us know the cardiac activity. Ni roho ama ni moyo? Moyo, si ndio? Hii moyo inapiga, Kiswahili usijali. Hii moyo inapiga ama hii moyo imesimama. Na kama moyo imesimama, then we need to do something. That heart has stopped beating, and this heart will not start itself. It will not start what? Haitajianzisha peke yake. We must do something. And basically, that is what we call resuscitation. We call it what? Resuscitate? Resuscitate? The heart has stopped. We need to do something to this casualty so that we can save their lives. And basically, that is what I want to show us, how to do chest compressions. And at any point, what I usually encourage people is that when you get such emergencies, don't panic. Don't do what? Yeah, hakuna haja kupiga nduru na mtu anakufa, si ndio? And you're doing nothing, Yeah, always make sure that you get the right direction in your mind so that you can help the casualty. The other day, I was in the office, and it was at night at car wash. Somebody called me. They know the number of emergency operation center. I'll give it to you. They called me, hey, you're having a problem here. This guy had been sick, but he went to the washroom. It was about 2 a.m. in the morning, and he collapsed. So as they collapsed, I gave them instructions of what to do. Can you check for a chest rise? They told me that there's no chest rise. Told them, can you check for a pulse? I told them where to get the pulse. Hapo kwa shingo kando. Angalia kama hiyo nini mshipa inapiga piga. Akaniambia haipigi. So I told them, fungua shati, locate the middle of the sternum. They started CPR. They started what? CPR basically means cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Sindio? Na what it entails, hati imestop, unaeka mkono yako hapo katikati kwa sternum, alafu unafinyilia. So hiyo kufinyilia, ukifinyilia, ile damu inaenda kwa ubongo na to the vital organs, right? And then as you wait for a chest recoil, ukiinua kidogo hivi, it allows blood to return to the heart. Allows blood to return to the heart, and then you pump out the blood again. Sawa sawa. So as you continue pumping blood with your hands, with your what? As you continue pumping blood with your hands to the brain and to the other organs, the heart will pick itself. Sindio? Tulisoma hata watoto wanasoma. Hii heart inakuanga tu na vitu zake. It has its own automaticity, elasticity. So vile unaifanyia hivi wewe na mkono yako, itafika mahali itapick peke yake na itaanza kupiga. Ikianza kupiga, then we do the necessary things. So I told them what to do. They did CPR. I came with the ambulance, took a wash, and continued with CPR. There was a pulse, luckily. Loaded the patient to the ambulance, took to JTRH, and the guy survived. Sawa sawa. So CTV2, and even a couple of times, I've even done this, even in my estate, in my own house, and people have survived. Sasa tumekuja kuambia science yenye haifanyi kazi hapa. Sawa sawa. We are telling you what works. It has worked. It has been proved by science. Remember, science is an evolving, medicine is an evolving science. They keep on researching, and it is certified that it works. So I want to show us how to do CPR. It's maybe a challenge on the microphone, but we can. Okay. I will try using this. I know you people are not be able to hold my microphone. Come and check for responsiveness. Check for what? Responsiveness. This guy is down. So I'll be like, if a casualty anaitwa Tom, tuseme huyu Tom anakuanga na ugonjwa wa pressure na imekuwa usiku, alikuwa naenda kwa choo na mkasikia poop, ameanguka chini. What are we supposed to do? We will check for responsiveness. Is what? Is a casualty responsive? So if it's called John, hello John, open your eyes, fungua macho. Ay, John, nini mefanyika? And then basically you look for chest rise. Your ears will be here, but your eyes will be on the chest. Check for chest rise. Haki huyu John apumui, sawa sawa. Help, mnisaidieni majirani, kujeni. And then come back and check for pulse. How long do we check for pulse? 10 seconds, no more than 10 seconds, right? How do you count 10 seconds? Ama tunasimamanga tu 10 seconds imeisha. You can check for pulse here. Banana 1, banana 2, banana 3, banana 4, banana 5, banana 6, banana 7, banana 8, banana 9, banana 10. Or Kisumu 1, Kisumu 2, Kisumu 3, Kisumu 4, Kisumu 5, Kisumu 6, Kisumu 7, Kisumu 8, Kisumu 9, Kisumu 10. That is a span of 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, you've already checked for pulse. You know that for sure. And there is no pulse. Now unajua hii roho imesimama haipigi. Si ndio? Hii roho haipigi. Now we need to take action. This is the time that you're going to locate the sternum. The sternum unaona hapa katikati. Hapa katikati ndio tunaita sternum. Sawa sawa. Hapa kwa mgonjwa tunaita hapo sternum. Sternum is made up of something like it's a cartilage. Mandrubian, haiwezi vunjika. Sawa sawa. Tumeelewana hapo? Sasa msiogope manyumbani eti nitavunja mbavu. Hakuna mbavu inavunjika. As long as you placed your hand in the right position. As long as Good students. As long as you place your hands in the right position, then don't worry about the breakages of ribs. So, how do you locate for sternum? Wengine wanasema ni katikati ya matiti, the nipples, right? For men, I can choose between the nipples. I'll be right. Sawa sawa. What about women? Between the nipples? Will it work? Sisi wanawake tukishawazaa watoto 5, 6, 7, nipple inatoka hapa inakuja hapa chini, si ndio? So tukifanya hapa chini hapa katikati, utakuwa na compress, mgonjwa anasikia unashangaa what is happening. Sawa sawa. So I'll give you a universal way of doing chest compression. Sawa sawa. Always fix your hands. Use your hand like this and then come and put it at the what? In the armpit. Draw your hands from the armpit and reach the middle. The middle, check at the what? What do you check for? What is here? Wanaume inaitwa nini? Adam's apple. Si ndio? Just right in the trachea going down na hapo katikati. Hii hand yako imekuwa imefika hapa. And then we start our chest compressions. When we're doing our chest compressions, we use the heel of the heel of our what? The heel of our palm. The heel of our what? Unaona hapa kwa mkono? Hapa. Ndio tunatumia. You interlock your fingers. You interlock your what? Your fingers, and then you push down using the weight of your shoulders, right? So I'm going to tell you how to do that. You come in. Okay, my patient is lying. It should be on the right side like this. Oh, patient way too. Huh? Okay, he's fine. I will come, locate the sternum, and make sure that you use your dominant hand. You use your what? Ile mkono yako ina exact nguvu ya kutosha, ndio unaweka sawa sawa. Sababu wengine ni lefty, wengine ni righty. That is why I'm saying that make sure that you use your dominant hand. Interlock your fingers after locating the sternum. Position yourself just close to the patient. Elbows straight. Make sure that your elbows are straight. And then push blood from the heart to go to the brain and to the other vital organs. How many chest compressions do you do? We do 30 chest compressions to how many breaths? To 2 breaths. Sawa sawa. So 30 chest compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. With how many breaths? 2 breaths. Where is Teddy? Okay, pocket mask iko hapo kwa hiyo kitu. Okay, if you have an ambu bag, but I want the basics that can help us save lives in our homes, right? That is why nilisema hii saa zingine utakuwa nayo kwa nyumba, lakini hospitali tuko nayo, si ndio? Remember, basic emergency care starts right where the patient is, on scene. Usingoje atakuja kufanyiwa hospitali. If that is one of your family members, here in the bag. Just bring this bag, this. Okay, if that is one of your family members, then you can use even a handkerchief. Unaweza tumia nini? Unaweza tumia handkerchief, sawa sawa. There is what we call pocket masks. Ni about 20 shillings kwa chemist. Ni about 20 shillings in the chemist. You can always buy them and keep them with you. So you can use that. You can use that pocket mask to give breaths to your casualty. Pocket masks, they come in different, you can open up this. Okay, this is already opened. Yeah, we have varieties, but ni vitu 20 bobs. Unaona hii valve? Mnaona? Nataka mkue na hii ni 20 shillings too. 20 shillings. I even tell Dr. Kelly to buy for the church. Yeah, Dr. Kelly can buy 20 shillings for the church so that kila mtu ako na yake. Unaona? Hii it's a one-way valve. It's what? Ni 20 bob na ni one-way valve. Sawa sawa. So what does one-way valve mean? Which means ukipuliza hewa huku yako itaendea mgonjwa, lakini ya mgonjwa haiwezi kukurudia. Sawa sawa. Hata kama mgonjwa ako na COVID, haiwezi kukurudia. Sawa sawa. Any respiratory infections, upper respiratory infections that the patient may be having will not come back to you. You can always use that. They come in several makes. You can also use this also. Is a one-way valve. We can use this for that. And then you can kwanza hizi ni 10 bob. Dr. Kelly, this is 10 shillings. You can buy for the whole church. Yeah. You can use this. Unaeka alafu unapulizia mgonjwa hewa. Unaona hiyo hewa kidogo unadharau. Hapa tuko na 21% oxygen in the air. Sawa sawa. And we only use 5%. Unaona hii 16%. Hii inaendanga waste. Hiyo ni waste. That is why hiyo 5%. Ukingangana na hiyo 5% na upulize kwa hii. Ni 5 tu. Akiwa mgonjwa haizi kufa. Na sisi tunawadanganya. These things work out. So you come. Hold for me this. And then you give, after doing 30 chest compressions, you put this bag and then you give 2 breaths. Anytime you're giving breaths to your casualty, make sure that you open the airway. Sawa sawa? Airway. Yani hiyo hewa unapuliza ingie kwa lungs ya mgonjwa. By either doing head tilt chin lift or jaw thrust maneuver. Jaw thrust maneuver ni wale wagonjwa watu wenye wamepigwa kichwa, head injury. Sawa sawa? Mtu akianguka chini, fall from height, amepata accident, majambazi wamempiga rungu kwa kichwa, always suspect C-spine injuries until proven by CT scan or X-ray. So jua tu your spine tuko ish hapo. Sawa sawa? So you come back and do 30 chest compressions, and I start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 2 breaths. Open the airway, head tilt, chin lift. Over 1 second each. Over 1 second each. See it? Hakuna mtu anakukimbiza, peana hewa. Sawa sawa? Over 1 second. Over 1 second each. And then you continue. Meanwhile, ushapiga simu hiyo si ndio? Hiyo si unapiga, unaambia mtu anapiga hiyo simu ukiendelea na chest compressions. How many chest compressions? 30 chest compressions, and then tell the person to dial 0800 720 575. Oh, ambulance. Oh, we are releasing the ambulance. Tell us where you are. We are coming. Continue with breath. We are continuing with chest compressions until help arrives. Ndio? Help ikikuja siku hizi county tuko na ambulances, ziko na oxygen, ziko na kila kitu. We load you and take you to the nearest healthcare facility. So, in summary, hatuwezi kaa hapa sana. Hizi ni vitu ndogo ndogo mnaweza fanya. Nimejua these youngsters, I want you to grow up into very good fast responders. Ndio? Where is Prince? Prince alikuwa hapo, akitaka mkue chap. Basically, when somebody collapses, call for help. Ndio? Na help inakujanga automatic. Be it in a estate. Nduru ni help. Nduru ni nini? Hiyo ni help unaita. Sawa sawa? Wanaume ni nini? Hiyo ni help. Ukisikia mwanaume amefanya huo mwanaume anahitaji help. Sawa sawa? Something is not right? If you hear lady, mayo, that is calling for help. Run. After running, leo nimewafundisha. What do? Check for any breathing. Check for any what? Breathing. Kucheck kubreathe ni kuangalia kama hiyo kifua inainuka juu na chini. Kama hainuki, angalia kama roho inapiga. Sawa sawa? Kama roho haipigi, which means the heart has stopped. Use your hands to restart the heart. And then give breath using pocket mask. If it is one of your family members, your babies, your husband, your spouse, right? You can use a handkerchief. By the way, I've done CPR. I've given breath to my spouse, mouth to mouth, and he's alive today. Saa zingine extreme, kama ni your husband or your baby, you can do that. A baby is choking. We'll do choking infant, choking adult. We'll tell you what to do. These things work. Just try them. They work. Don't panic. As long as you know what you're doing, you're going to save lives, right? So when it comes to, I just wanted to make some emphasis before I leave. For adults, you do 30 chest compressions to 2 breaths. We do how many? Si tumekula sahi. Hata mimi nimeshiba, sijai kula church yangu. Hata nimeshangaa, kwanza I'm changing my church. I'm coming here. Because there's food. Sindio? Yes, I'm coming here, there's food. So we do 30 chest compressions to two breaths. Sawa sawa. That is for adults. When it comes to around 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds, these little babies that we're having here, not babies but children here, we do also 30 chest compressions, but at this time we use one hand. We use what? Tunatumia mkono gani? Hii moja, sawa sawa. Use the heel of your palm as you locate the sternum, and you do 30 chest compressions to 2 breaths, right? After doing 30 chest compressions to 2 breaths, you continue until help come. You would have already called the Kisumu County EOC number, and we'll release the ambulance immediately. Next, if it is an infant, what? Infant ni nani? 1 and below 1 year? 8 months, 7 months. Sawa sawa. Same thing, but now I want to make some moderations when it comes to pediatrics or infants. Kama ulikuwa mtoto wako alikuwa maybe amegonjeka ametoka ward ama maybe amenyongwa, right? Maybe the baby has been choked by milk. What can choke a baby? Maziwa na nyonya. Amepewa waru, si ndio? Can choke them. Even your own saliva can choke you. Na wangapi wamenyongwa na mate yao? Mate inanyonganga, si ndio? Haya, kama ujui nakuambia, mate huwa inanyonga. Inaweza kukunyonga vizuri sana. So, for babies, one thing I want us to take home. Anytime you're checking for responsiveness for a baby, anytime you're checking for responsiveness in a baby, you ask, don't call them, okay, anything, call anything by names. Even if they're unconscious, they'll have it in their subconscious mind. Sawa sawa. Si hata pusi, si mko na pusi wanajuanga jina yao, hata dogi kwenu, si ndio? Kuna dogi wanaitwa Sandra, na ukiwaita Sandra wanasikia. So hata mtoto anaelewa jina yake hata kama akoaje, sawa sawa. Kama anaitwa Toto, call them by names as you check for responsiveness. But this time round, do not call them Toto, 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 Toto. Don't do sternal rub on babies. And also, by tapping them at the shoulder, do not do that. Sawa sawa. The most sensitive part of a baby is the platter of the foot. The what? The platter of the foot. Hapa. Unaona hapa ndani kwa miguu ya mtoto? Hata kama melala aje. This is the most sensitive part in a body, a baby. So call them. Kama naitwangwa mami, mkono yako ifanye mami, lakini macho yako iangalie kwa uso ya mtoto. Tumeelewana? It will tell you if this baby is semi-conscious or just unconscious. The ear is very sensitive. Check for the grimace of the face. Utaona kama kuna what we call the corneal reflex. Anajaribu kufanya macho hivi. Ama hapa iko sensitive. Utaona kama anajaribu kulia. Ama ata make any facial expression kwa mtoto. Sawa sawa. So, call them. Kama Toto, Toto, Toto. The baby is what? Unresponsive. Face yake imenyamaza hivyo, sawa. So we want to check for pulse. Where do you check for pulse in a baby? Anybody? Pulse. Kuangalia kama roho inapiga, roho ya mtoto tunaangalia wapi? Adults tulikuwa tunaangalia hapa kwa shingo. Baby tunaangalia wapi? Oi! Eti wapi? Kwa kichwa. You're right. Sawa sawa. Sasa baby naona mnaangalianga hapa kwa kichwa. Hata wamama wakinyonyesha mtoto akikuwa choked, unaona anafanyia mtoto hivi. Si mnafanyanga hivyo? Ama nadanganya kwa kichwa, si ndio? Sababu hapo ndiye anapumulia, si ndio? That is wrong. I'll tell you what happens there. But anytime you're checking for a baby's pulse, come and check for the baby's pulse at the brachial. At the what? Brachial ni hapa. Utafungua mtoto kama ni hiyo shati yake ya juu kwa mkono, and then unaona hapa ndani kwa mkono brachial, unaona hapa kwa mkono kwa joint. Okay, unaona hapa kwa boni, hapa kwa joint. Hii ndio inaitwa brachial. Ndio inaitwa nini? Kila mtu anifanyie brachial yake nione. Yes, that is the brachial. Hapa, si ndio? Lakini kwa watoto hauwezi pata brachial yao hapo. They are still not fully developed. Sawa sawa. You'll not get it hapo tu. Utakuja hapa ndani kidogo. Sawa sawa. Unaona hapa mali nashika? Unaona hapa? inside of the arm, that is where you're gonna get the baby's pulse. Sawa sawa. So ukishashika hapo, press ndani kidogo, check for pulse. Same thing, no more than 10 seconds. Count Kisumu 1, Kisumu 2, Kisumu 3, Kisumu 4, Kisumu 5, Kisumu 6, Kisumu 7, Kisumu 8, Kisumu 9, Kisumu 10. If there is no pulse, then it is time for you to restart that heart. Sawa sawa. Eh? I love resuscitating babies. I don't remember any time I've resuscitated a baby na ameenda kabisa. Because babies don't suffer what we call cardiac arrest. Hiyo roho yao haipikingi hivyo, haistopingi hivyo, si ndio? They suffer what is called respiratory arrest. Respiratory, hiyo hewa tu. Wakipata tu hiyo hewa vizuri, wanamkanga. Sawa sawa. So for babies, what I will do, I've already checked for pulse and there is no pulse. So I'm gonna start chest compressions. Sawa sawa. How do we do chest compressions for babies? You come, sasa baby nimekubali ile nipple, sasa hiyo nimekubali. Sawa sawa. Si adults ni female nilikataa. Male pia nikubali, si ndio? Babies pia nimekubali. In between the nipples, look at the track here, come down in between and then start your chest compressions. How do you do a chest compressions? For babies, use your 2 fingers. Use your what? Tunatumia mikono ngapi? Aki tumelewana, nisipate mwekea mikono baby mikono, utavunja mbavu zote. Kidogo utaona damu inatoka kwa mapua na mdomo. Alafu seme wale watu wa KCMT walikuja hapa walitudanganya. Si ndio? What I want you to mark, babies use your 2 fingers. You can either use these 2 fingers by locating the sternum, and then you do, if you are alone, do 30 chest compressions. If you are a what? Alone. Kama uko peke yako, fanya 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put the baby in a flat. Usibebe hivi. Umesikia? Hatuna tu meza hapa, but put the baby on a flat surface. Sawa sawa. Hata kwa meza, hata kwa kitanda, but at least a flat kitanda. Watu wengine wako na mattress sio farm, si ndio? Alafu mko na spring bed. Spring bed ukiweka mtoto inaingia katikati, ukiendelea kufanya compressions, mnacheza hapo mnarukaruka. You are not doing effective chest compressions. So put the baby on a flat surface and then do 30 chest compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Come and give breaths. Kama ni mtoto wangu, mapua yake na mdomo yake nitaingiza kwa hii mdomo yangu kubwa. Kama mtoto ni wangu. And then I'll be like 2 breaths, ndio? Kama mtoto sio wako, tafuta hata handkerchief. Sawa sawa. Tafuta kama una pocket mask, tafuta pocket mask ama handkerchief, give them 2 breaths. Sawa sawa. Ikifika hospitali tuko na ambu bag, sisi tutaendelea na ambu bag tuko nazo, lakini kwa nyumba niko na, I'm very sure you don't have ambu bags at home. Nani ako na ambu bag nyumbani? Hakuna, si ndio? So use pocket mask, use your handkerchief or a clean cloth to give breaths. If it is your baby, you can, mothers, you can give breaths with your mouth. But if you are 2 people, sawa sawa, if you're what? 2 people, give 15 chest compressions. How many chest compressions? 15. Mara hii unaweza tumia hizi vidole mbili, hizi vidole zako kubwa, the thumbs, sawa sawa. Use the thumbs like this and do 15 chest compressions. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 15 compressions to 2 breaths. Sawa sawa. So kama mko watu wawili, by the end of the day, huyu mtoto atakuwa amepata how many breaths? Atakuwa amepata 4 breaths with 30 chest compressions. Kwa nini? Si watoto kawaida wanapumua haraka kushinda sisi. Si hiyo ni concept yenye hata kama hujafanya science unajua, si ndio? Si watoto wanapumua haraka, si ndio? That is why they need more breaths. Sawa sawa. Okay, we're gonna do choking. Tunamaliza, naona mvua inakuja, tunaenda Nairobi. Okay. For choking. Okay, for choking, if your baby is choking, right? Mama alikuwa akinyonyesha mtoto. Mama alikuwa akifanya nini? Oh, they're not seeing. I'm sorry. My aim is to resuscitate. Okay, hope you are seeing me now. Okay, so if a mother was breastfeeding a baby, either anamnyonyesha ama amebeba uji anampatia na kijiko, ama kuna watoto wengine wanakatanga tu kukula, si ndio? Unaona wamama wanachukua nini? Eti wanawapatia by force, si ndio? Don't do that. Babies, hunger is powerful. Njaa is powerful. Mtoto atakula tu. Hivi eti mtoto anapewa uji by force. You'll choke your baby. You'll choke your baby and you kill your baby, alafu utatumia nduru hapa. Mtoto wangu. Eti nilikuwa nampatia uji. Why are you forcing the baby to take? Hunger is powerful. When they are hungry, they'll take. So, if the baby has been choked, check if the baby is what? Is responsive. Check for breathing. If the baby is still breathing but struggling to breathe, in most instances when they get choked, utaona anajaribu kupumua. So wanafanyanga hivyo. Anajaribu kupumua, hewa haiwezi ingia ndani. Sawa sawa. Because there is airway obstruction, either partial or complete, either na hiyo waru, maziwa or whatever. So what you're supposed to do to that baby, you're gonna try to help that baby. Sawa sawa. By helping that, come and bring your baby. If this is your baby, start with what he called, sit yourself in a comfortable position. Sawa sawa. Usijaribu kuresuscitate mtoto. Watoto wa saizi wa 2 months ni wazito sana, si ndio? Utapanic, na hiyo hali ya kupanic, ujaribu niliona mwingine alishika mtoto hivi. Na mtoto akaanguka chini. Mnaenda CT scan kuangalia head injury. Another thing. Hiyo kitu itatoka, but sasa mtoto wako ataharibika kabisa. So just make sure that you are very comfortable. You are very what? How many? Give 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then turn the baby. Every time you're turning the baby, make sure that your hand is supporting the head. Because naturally, vichwa ya watoto ni kubwa kushinda mwili. Nani ananibea witness? Vichwa ya watoto ni kubwa kushinda mwili yao all the time. Sawa sawa. Alafu tuna support hii head kwa nini? Sababu the baby's neck is not usually fully developed. Sawa sawa. Vitu kama trachea ziko very brittle, inatoshana na ile straw ya soda. Ukienda kichwa yake na sahi umejua they are becoming unconscious, you can make the baby, you can damage some of the cartilages and the trachea and the organs in the neck. So always make sure that you support the head. After you've supported the head, give what we call back slabs. Give what we call back slabs using the palm of the heel of your what? Of your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give it forcefully. Sawa sawa. Hiyo ni kifo. Usicheze eti hapana. Give it forcefully and in a swathing position like this. Sawa sawa. Enda hivi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn the baby again. Just gently. Don't be in a hurry so that you don't hurt your belly. Continue doing abdominal thrust. 5 of them. After doing 5, continue turning the baby. Give back slaps again. Make sure that the head is always down. Your hand supporting the chin to enable that object or that fluid to pass out in times when you're doing the back slaps. After the 5th round, the 3rd round, come and check if you can see the object. What? Kama unaweza ona hiyo kitu. Sawa sawa. Small finger to sweep out the object. Sawa sawa. Do not do a blind sweep. Do not do what? Kitu yenye hauoni, usichukue mkono uingize ndani, tunaitafuta huko ndani, utaendelea kuisongeza zaidi. Sawa sawa. So after doing that, if the baby becomes flabby and more unconscious, and they lose consciousness. Place the baby on a flat surface and start chest compressions. How many do we do? If you are 2 people, we do 15 chest compressions to 2 breaths. If you are 1 person, you do 30 chest compressions. But babies, I've seen twice I've resuscitated a baby with the airway obstruction. Alikuwa nakula waru. Nikajaribu back slabs haikutosha, akakuwa unconscious pulse, nikaangalia sikupata pulse, nikaona ubaby ameenda. Sawa sawa. Nikamweka kwa bench, ilikuwa kwa kiosk. And I did abdominal thrust. Nikaanza chest compressions. The first round ikakuwa tu vizuri. The second round nikaona nini mate na hizo vitu zinateremka kwa mdomo. Sawa sawa. Nikachukua I was very brave enough, but for babies I risked na nikasak na mdomo yangu na nikatema chini na kafanya hivyo, na tukachukua bodaboda na mama yake tukakimbiza casualty, and the baby is alive till today. Sasa, so some of these airway obstructions for babies, once if they become unconscious and they lose a pulse, start CPR. In the course of doing CPR and giving breaths, of course they'll get oxygen as you continue, because the obstruction, they'll get the little oxygen, the 5% tulisema watapata. Sawa sawa. And then if that force, the force that you are exerting in the thoracic cavity will help push out the object in the airway, and the baby will be back. Any question? We want to do adult choking. Any question before we do adult choking? Okay, come we do adult choking, and then we done. Oh, we done just with a few emphasis on some things. So, okay. If somebody has been choked by either liquid or a chunk of meat, they're eating dinner, and she's having an airway obstruction, it will depend if it is partial airway obstruction or if it is a complete airway obstruction, the way they behave. Some of them will not be able to talk, but what I can tell you for this patient, for instance, if she is so for instance, you must make your assessment, and get their consent. Here in Kenya it's good, we can just bump into people, but as somewhere else, just off this continent, before you do anything to any person, you have to get their consent, or else they're gonna kiss your battery. Sawa sawa. Anakugeuka mpaka unashangaa si nilikuwa namsaidia. Kama kuna what we call the Good Samaritan laws, they'll take you to court for battery, right? So always ensure that you get their consent. So always ask them if they are choking. Okay, are you choking? Umanyangwa? Okay, then I want to help you. Can I help you? Okay, let them know that you want to help them. Sawa. Okay, simama nikusaidie takuwa sawa. Always reassure them, and then encourage them to cough. Kohoa. So make sure that you put your dominant leg in between her legs. Sawa. And then encourage them to cough as you do what we call Heimlich's maneuver. So kohoa. Bring your hands like this. Put it just at the xiphoid process above the navel, and make sure that you are stable, and apply force in between, in and up, 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 and then 5 times, and then you come and do. Always encourage them to kukohoa. Do them back slabs. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With the heel of your hand in a swathing position. That is 5 abdominal thrust and back slabs. The current research says that back slabs has been is now a contraindication for pregnant women. For what? Mama mjamzito usipige back slabs. Sawa. Si tumeelewana? Fanyia to abdominal thrust. If they become, after 5 rounds, and they become unconscious, hiyo ndio sababu nilisimama hivi. Sawa. Nilisimama hivi so that akikuwa unconscious, ata land kwa my thighs, na nitamweka chini. Sawa. Nikishaweka yeye chini, niangalie kama na breathe. I start my assessment again. I'll check if she's breathing. I'll check if there is a pulse. If there is no pulse, I check for breathing. If there is no breathing, I shout for help. Check for breathing, no more than 5 seconds, no less than 5 seconds, and no more than 10, not less than 5 seconds, and no more than 10 seconds, and then I shout for help. Help! Kujeni amenyongwa. And then they will come, you tell them to dial a number for the ambulance. As you start here, you come check for pulse, if there is a pulse. If there is no pulse, you start CPR. Thank you. So what happens if they are breathing? Si why inafanyika? If they are breathing, what happens? What do? Tunaendelea kusukuma kifua. Pa. Tunafanya compressions. And there's a pulse. If there is a pulse, sawa, and there is no breathing, umeangalia chest rise, unaona, huyu ni kama hapumui, si ndio? Lakini kikuja hapa kwa pulse, unashika pulse, unaona, kuna pulse. Ukiona kuna pulse, na breathing hakuna. Sawa, breathing hakuna breathing na kuna pulse, give them what we call rescue breathing. Sawa. Give them breaths. Assist them to breathe by, if you have an ambu bag. If you don't have an ambu bag, I know at home you'll not be having it. Use their pocket mask to give them breath. How do you give them breath? Tunawapatia mbili. Hapana. Sawa. Assisted ventilations hatuwapati hivyo. We give them, tunawasukumia 1 breath every 6 seconds. Kisumu 1, Kisumu 2, Kisumu 3, Kisumu 4, Kisumu 5. Kisumu 1, Kisumu 2, Kisumu 3, Kisumu 4, Kisumu 5. Kisumu 1, Kisumu 2, Kisumu 3, Kisumu 4, Kisumu 5. Sivyo ndivyo tunapumua. Tunapumuanga hivyo, si ndio? At that rate. Because they don't have an effort, si ndio? They don't have an effort, so help them with their effort. They'll get the 5% and they will be okay. Sawa. Tumemalizana resuscitation vizuri, si ndio? Kama hujaelewa vizuri, naweza kupatia namba yangu, naweza niuliza, naweza kukuelezea zaidi. Sasa tunataka kufunga, nataka kuongea juu ya, I want to talk about snake bite and animal bite. Wacha nimalize nikae. Okay, sawa. Snake bite. Let me start with snake bite and then I do animal bite, and then one of us will come and do bleeding, and then now we can go home. We call it a happy Sabbath. I love the way you say happy Sabbath. I loved it. Happy Sabbath, alafu mwingine anajibu aje? Happy day, si ndio? I think I love it. I start using it more often. I love it. Okay, so snake bites. Snake bites usually, it's scary. Hata sasa nikisema nimeona nyoka hapo, utaona vile watu watakimbia na mko church. Si ndio? Kusema tu nyoka, watu watakimbia. So snake bites, most snake bites usually are not very poisonous. Only about 30% of snake bites are poisonous. Sawa. But I just want us to give us tips on how to manage snake bites. Anytime you've been bitten by a snake, kitambo watu walikuwa wanafanya nini? Umeumwa na nyoka, wanachukua kamba ile ya kufungia kondoo. Wanafunga hapo. Kama ni hapa kwa mguu, wanafunga so tightly. Ndio wanaangalia vile unakuja hospitali. Wengine wanakata, si ndio? Wanakata na wembe, hiyo ndio sijui ni local fasciotomy ama ni nini walikuwa wanafanya. But wanakata, alafu wanachukua majivu ya jiko, wanaweka hapo kwa mahali nyoka imeuma, si ndio? Wengine wanasak hiyo poison ya nyoka, wanasak, si ndio? Okay, those are traditional things. People don't do them anymore because science have proved that they don't offer any better benefit to the casualty that has been bitten by a snake. So, mtu akiumwa na nyoka ukiwa nyumbani, the first thing to do, make sure that you reassure them. Remove anxiety. Sawa. Watapanic. Na wakianza kupanic, watapumua haraka. Wakianza kupanic, wanapumua haraka. Hiyo damu itapiga kwa sana, itaenda sana. Damu ikienda sana, roho ikipiga sana, hiyo sumu ina circulate sana kwa system, which is very bad. Sasa, so first of all, reassure your casualty. Tell them, umeona na nyoka, but utakuwa tu sawa, tunakupeleka hosi. We are giving you help. Reassure them, si ndio? Usianze kumwambia, na hiyo nyoka si ile nyoka ya green and black. Ndio imekuuma. Usifanye hivyo. utakosa anxiety, si ndio? Ataona amekwisha. So always ensure that you do what? That you reassure the casualty. After reassuring the casualty, make sure that you sit them down. Na musifunge na kamba. Tusifanye nini? Tusifunge na kamba. Kama uko na crepe bandage na splint, use a crepe bandage and tie it. Just tie with a crepe bandage and immobilize the limb. Sit them, transport them seated to the hospital. Kwa nini tunafunga na crepe bandage? Hatutaki ku cut off circulation. Ukienda Baringo utaona watu wengi wako na crutches, mguu moja, mkono moja, si ndio? Walikuwa wanafunga na kamba. Ukifunga na kamba, circulation to that place is cut off completely, si ndio? Blood circulation imefungwa kabisa. Ikifungwa, hii nyoka Mungu aliumba na vitu zingine. There are some properties of snake venom. One of the properties of snake venom is that it causes rotting very fast. It causes what? Rotting. It has what we call a proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic enzyme that causes rotting very fast. So imagine umefunga hapo na hiyo enzyme yenye na rot haraka. So now you know what will happen. That is why don't tie a snake bite. Hata ukifunga ukifika hosi, ukifika tu casualty vizuri hivi, you know what we'll do? Okay, the best management. Sitafungua tu hivi kama mimi ni daktari. Umeifunga for like 6 hours. Uliuma na nyoka usiku, umefika hospitali saa 8. Ndio umefika hospitali. So what I'll do, I'll use a blood pressure machine, BP cuff, nitafunga hapo, alafu natoa hiyo kamba. So, na deflate hiyo BP cuff pole pole. Because nikitoa tu hiyo kamba hivyo, there'll be a gush of the venom na circulation, na itaenda na kidogo ndio unaonanga hajakaa casualty, amekaa kidogo na amekufa. Sawa sawa. So tusifunge snake bite. Tusifunge nini? Tusifunge snake bite, tufunge na strapping, tupeleke hospitali. The doctor will do your assessment, and after that you'll be given. There are a few things that you have to tell the doctor. Let me move close, it's raining. There are a few things that you have to tell the doctor. The doctor will ask you, did you see the snake? Uliona hiyo nyoka ilikuuma? Usianze kumwambia daktari nimekuja hospitali, nimeumwa na nyoka, fanya haraka, usiniulize maswali ya ujinga. Basically that is what they do, si ndio? The doctor will ask you, did you see the snake? So I want to tell you some of the properties that maybe will help you so that you know what will be happening. If you've been bitten by any snake that has scales, any snake that has scales is a very poisonous snake. Sawa. Any snake that has a triangular head, any snake with a triangular head, that is a very poisonous snake. Sawa. Any snake that has vertical pupils. Nani ameona pupils za paka usiku? Pusi. Nani amewahi mulika pusi usiku na torch? Umeona macho zake? Zinakanga hivi, si ndio? Any snake yenye iko na pupils zake ziko hivi, that is a very poisonous snake, si ndio? Any snake with a round pupil is not very poisonous snake. Sawa. Any snake with a composed tail is also a very poisonous snake. Sawa. Any snake with hollow fangs, hizi fangs zake ziko na shimo kama shindano ile tunadunga na hospitali, that is a very poisonous snake. Any snake with block fangs is not a very poisonous snake. Sawa. Any snake that is nocturnal, au nyoka wenye wanaendanga usiku, that is also a very poisonous snake. So the doctor will ask you that so that the doctor can know if there is what we call envenomation, kama hiyo venom imeingia kwa system yako. Atakuuliza, nyoka ilikuuma ukifanya nini? Usimwambie daktari, sasa hiyo ni swali gani unaniuliza? Nilikuwa nafanya nini si nimeumwa na nyoka? The doctor want to know if there is what we call envenomation, because there is what we call dry bites, or snake bite on business, on snake bite on defense. Sawa. Ulikuwa unapita tu alafu mkakutana ikakuuma na ikaenda, si ndio? That is a snake bite on defense. Probably there is minimum envenomation sababu haikuwa imetayarisha venom yake kupigana na wewe. Sawa. That is a snake bite on defense. The doctor will ask you that. The doctor will also ask you, ulikuwa unafanya nini? Kama ulikuwa umetoa vita na nyoka, there is envenomation. Iko tayari, ilikuwa imekusanya. So the doctor will know if there is envenomation or not through what you are doing when the snake was biting you. You'll tell the doctor all that. They'll do a test on you before giving you the anti-snake venom. Here in Kenya, we have the polyvalent. Si tunawachapanga polyvalent wote, si ndio? Wherever I was in Oslo, Norway, they've done a visibility study. In every forest, they know every snake that is there, si ndio? Unasema tu nilumwa na ngambo ile, they give you a monovalent for that snake bite. Sawa sawa? But in Kenya tunachapa wote na Mungu ni mwema, polyvalent kila mtu na tunakuwa sawa. Sawa sawa? So precautions. Precautions for snake bites. Anytime you're walking, make sure in a bushy place, make sure that you put on your safety boots. Sawa sawa? Ama uvae kiatu sawa sawa, sio sandals na ukuku kwa msitu, ndio unakuja umeumwa na nyoka. Another thing, make sure in your houses, make sure that you don't keep the snake's food. What is the snake's food? Rats, si ndio? Make sure you don't keep rats in your house. They'll come for their food and they'll bite you. Sasa. Okay. And also make sure that you stay in a clean environment. When you're walking at night, make sure you use your flashlight. Basically, naturally, snakes fear human beings. Sasa. Make sure you use your flashlights when you're walking at night. And also, when you're walking in bushy places, make sure you whistle. Sijui kuifanya? Kupiga mbija. Kufanya nini? Make sure unapiga mbija ukitembea ama unatembea na radio kwa simu yako kwa bushi, si ndio? Ikisikia sauti, naturally they fear human beings. So those are some of the precautions that you should take to avoid snake bites, because some of these snake bites they are very lethal. Some of them cause even facial paralysis. Ukimwambia toa ulimi nje, haezi toa, it sticks. Yani paralyzes the facial muscles and also paralyzes the what? The diaphragm. Now you can't breathe. Some of them are neurotoxic. Some of them cause severe bleeding non-stop. We have different types of snake bites, the viperites, the hydrophytes, and the elapites, different. Daktari atajua ukimwambia. Sawa. So let's take care of ourselves in terms of snake bites. Animal bite, namaliza. Sisi walimu tunasemanga tunamaliza na tumalizi. Tunaenda tu, but for sure now namaliza. Okay, so animal bite. For instance, dog bites are usually very bad bites if they're not taken care of immediately. Sasa, if you're bitten by a dog, first thing I want you to do is to make sure that you clean the wound. Clean the wound with running water. Clean the wound with what? Running water. If you can get warm water, the better. Sindio? If you can get warm water, clean the wound with warm water. If you can't get warm water, just use running water to clean the wound. After cleaning the wound with running water, it will depend with the bleeding. If bleeding is severe, the first thing we are supposed to do is to take care of that bleeding. Sawa. Clean very fast and then stop that bleeding through by direct pressure with your gauze roll, and then tie it. After tying it, take the patient to the what? To the hospital. They'll be given anti-rabies, because if you're bitten by a dog that is rabid, hao wenye wanakibianga tu they are rabid, inawasumbua kwa brain. Sawa, rabies, sawa. So they want to release it. Wakikuta naye wanakuuma. Those are very dangerous birds. Okay, snake bite, dog bites. That is if the dog is rabid, that is a death sentence for sure. I'm not cheating you. I'm not scaring you. Sawa. If the dog is rabid, that is bad news, but just rush, go to the hospital before 12 hours. Before what? 12 hours after the bite, you'll get help. Siti mtoto aliumwa na umbwa, unasema umbwa ni yako, umeweka mtoto kwa nyumba for 1 week, mpaka mtoto anaanza kubweka, ama mtoto anaogopa maji, ukimpatia maji ya kunywa unaona hataki kuona maji yoyote. Hizo ni signs za rabies zimeingia hapa. Ndio sasa unakimbia na mtoto unapeleka hospitali. The other time I saw a 7-year-old girl was brought into the emergency department after being bitten by a dog for the past 1 week. Mama amemweka. So mama amemleta saa hiyo mtoto I'm asking her, what are you doing with this girl in the house? Yeti alikuwa ameuma tu na umbwa ilikuwa yangu. And a few minutes, the girl passed on. So what I'm telling all of us, dog bite, peleka hospitali, wash with running water, take to the hospital immediately. You'll be given antibiotics because it usually causes infection. Cat bites also. In terms of bacterial infection, cats wana bacteria zao zinakuanga mingi kushinda dog. Sawa sawa. So usipuuze eti ni paka yangu imeniuma. Take them to the hospital. Sawa sawa. Human bites are also equally very, very bad. They are very bad. Sasa ukienda uone msichana ameenda kwa bwana ya mtu, amepigana, bwana ya mtu amemuuma. Walikuwa wanapigana. Na huyu bibi wa huyu mtu amemuuma. That is very bad because saliva usually contains a lot of bacteria. Mbaya sana. Sawa sawa? Yeah. Take them to the hospital. The doctor will manage them. Otherwise, I'm really grateful. Thank you. I hope these tips gonna help you. We would have done a lot of things. First aid for stroke. Wengine wetu hapa tuko na high blood pressure. We don't know what happens. Next time you invite us, we'll talk about stroke, we'll talk about myocardial infarction. Hizo chest pains zinakuja tu na anaanguka chini amecollapse. We'll talk about myocardial infarction, we'll talk about stroke, we'll talk about epilepsy, we'll talk about so many other things that happen in our homes that can make us go down. With a few remarks, let me invite over Bonnie. Bonnie, or who is doing that? Okay, come. Thank you.
God is good all the time. Okay, I'm Jane Ogoda. I'll be taking you through bleeding, okay? Yeah. So back at home, tunapata watoto wamekatwa walikuwa wanacheza with sharp objects ama kitu fulani, si ndio? So in few we have got two types of bleeding. That is external bleeding and internal bleeding. External bleeding is caused by a sharp object, while internal bleeding is caused by a blunt object, okay? If you suspect internal bleeding, always take your casualty to the hospital, because we have to remember the principles that guide us in first aid. That is to save life, okay? In external bleeding, we have an acronym, it's called EXPECT, okay? E for expose. X, examine. Pressure point. Elevate. We need to cover the wound. Then we should transport our casualty. Okay? If anybody bleeds a lot, it will cause what is called shock. After shock, if not well managed, we are going to lose our patient. Okay? So we are going to demonstrate on how to arrest bleeding. Number one, safety matters a lot while you are handling any fluid. Put on your gloves. If you don't have, tell the casualty to hold the hand. Okay? So, here is my casualty. So, here is my casualty back at home. She's my casualty back at home. She has been cut by a sharp object. Number one, we use the acronym EXPECT. I have to check my danger. The danger is, I have to assess the area for any danger. After that, I have to tell my patient, I can see a lot of movement, that's why I'm holding. Okay, remember in every step while you are arresting for bleeding, you have to put on your gloves, okay? After that, I'll take the available resources.
concentrating.